A single CrossFit gym, commonly called a box, typically needs somewhere between 120 and 200 paying members just to break even. And yet, most locations only have room on the floor for 15 to 20 people to train at once. That gap between total membership and how many bodies can physically fit in the room at any given moment is the entire business model. And most first-time owners never do that math before signing a lease. Most people assume opening a CrossFit gym is basically a passion project. You love the training, you get certified, you rent a warehouse space, and members show up because the community sells itself. That part is real, but it's not the business. The real business is running a tightly scheduled, coach-dependent operation where your biggest cost isn't equipment, it's the people running your classes. And understanding exactly how that changes the math separates the boxes that survive past year 3 from the ones that quietly close. So let's actually open the books on this one. The reality check. From the outside, a CrossFit gym looks refreshingly simple compared to a big box fitness chain. No rows of cardio machines, no sprawling locker rooms, just open floor space, some barbells, pull-up rigs, and a coach running a class. It looks like one of the leaner, more affordable fitness businesses you could start. What's actually happening is closer to running a boutique fitness studio with a coaching payroll that scales directly with your class schedule, not with your membership count. Every hour you're open, you need a qualified coach on the floor, whether that class has 3 people or 18 in it, which means labor cost is tied to your schedule, not your revenue. Add in a membership price point that's meaningfully higher than a typical big box gym, precisely because members are paying for coaching and community rather than just equipment access, and a physical space limitation that caps how many people can train in any single class, regardless of how popular the gym becomes, and you start to see why this business runs on genuinely different math than a normal gym. That's exactly why the boxes that thrive treat class scheduling and coach payroll as the central strategic decision of the entire business, not an afterthought once the doors are open. But here's what the numbers actually look like. Chapter 1. Startup costs. Opening a CrossFit gym is meaningfully cheaper than opening a full commercial gym, but it's still a real capital commitment. A typical space, usually a warehouse-style unit of 3,000 to 6,000 square feet, needs to be leased or purchased, and in most US and Canadian markets, a space this size runs $2,500 to $7,000 a month in rent, depending on region, with UK equivalents in a similar range once converted. Equipment is a smaller line item than most people expect, since CrossFit training relies on relatively simple, durable gear rather than expensive machines. Barbells, plates, pull-up rigs, kettlebells, rowing machines, and basic flooring for a space this size typically costs $30,000 to $70,000 total, and much of it lasts for years with minimal maintenance compared to cardio equipment full of electronics and moving parts. Build-out costs, flooring installation, mirrors, a small reception area, and restrooms can add another $20,000 to $50,000 depending on the condition of the space you're leasing. Licensing requirements are relatively light compared to many fitness businesses, generally a standard business license plus liability insurance, though coaches typically need recognized certifications through the CrossFit Level 1 training course or equivalent strength and conditioning credentials, and the gym itself needs to become an official CrossFit affiliate, which involves an annual affiliate fee to CrossFit HQ, commonly a few $1,000s a year, in exchange for using the CrossFit name, programming resources, and being listed in the official affiliate directory. Here's what most people miss. Because equipment costs are relatively modest in this business, the real startup risk isn't overspending on gear. It's underestimating how long it takes to build a membership base large enough to cover a lease and coaching payroll that both start on day 1, which is exactly why experienced owners budget for 6 to 12 months of working capital before the gym reaches a sustainable member count. Chapter 2. Revenue streams. A CrossFit gym doesn't make its money one simple way. It stacks a few distinct revenue lines, though membership dues carry the business by far. Monthly membership fees are the core of the business, typically running $150 to $250 a month in the US, with premium markets and boutique position boxes charging more. And this price point sits meaningfully above a typical commercial gym membership precisely because members are paying for structured coaching, not just facility access. Personal training and specialty programming add a genuine secondary revenue stream. One-on-one coaching sessions, nutrition consulting, and specialty classes like Olympic weightlifting or gymnastics-focused programming can be sold as add-ons to existing members or standalone packages. And because the facility and much of the coaching infrastructure already exists, this category carries a healthier margin than the base membership itself. Merchandise, supplements, and apparel round out the smaller revenue lines, along with drop-in fees for visiting athletes traveling through the area, since CrossFit's affiliate network means members from other boxes commonly pay a one-time drop-in rate to train while away from home. Here's the number that surprises most people. Because class sizes are capped by both coaching ratio and floor space, a fully booked class doesn't mean maximum revenue the way it might at a big box gym with unlimited access. It means you've likely hit the ceiling for that specific time slot, which is exactly why growing revenue in this business depends heavily on adding more class times and building a strong 5 or 6 a.m. and evening schedule, rather than just signing up more members into an already full 6 p.m. class. Chapter 3. Operating Costs. Now, to what actually eats into that revenue? And this is where CrossFit gym economics diverge sharply from a typical commercial gym. Coaching payroll is by far the largest cost, and this is the defining feature of the business model, because every class needs a qualified coach on the floor regardless of how many members show up. Labor cost is tied directly to your schedule rather than your revenue, which means a gym running 12 classes a day carries a meaningfully higher payroll than one running 6, independent of how full those classes actually are. Rent is the other major fixed cost, and because this business needs open floor space rather than a small storefront, rent typically represents a larger share of revenue than it would for many other small businesses. Equipment maintenance and gradual replacement, while lighter than a cardio-heavy commercial gym, still adds up over time as barbells wear, plates get replaced, and rigs need occasional repair. Insurance covering the genuinely higher injury risk of intense strength and conditioning training is a real and necessary cost, along with utilities for a large open space and the ongoing CrossFit affiliate fee. Marketing and member acquisition costs round out the picture, and this is where community-driven word-of-mouth genuinely helps. CrossFit gyms often see stronger organic referral rates than typical commercial gyms because of the tight-knit community culture, which can meaningfully reduce paid marketing spend for well-run boxes. Here's the retention hook worth remembering. Because coaching payroll is scheduled rather than variable, an empty 9 a.m. class costs the gym almost exactly the same as a full one, which is exactly why filling out-of-peak time slots matters just as much to profitability as growing total membership count. Chapter 4. Profit Margins and Real Numbers. So what's actually left over? Industry figures commonly cited by boutique fitness consultants put well-run CrossFit gyms in the 15% to 25% net profit margin range on total revenue, which requires real discipline around class scheduling and coaching costs, given how much of the expense base is fixed. Let's run a real example. Take a gym with 150 members, paying an average of $175 a month in dues. That's $315,000 a year in membership revenue, plus roughly $35,000 in personal training, specialty classes, and merchandise, for total annual revenue of $350,000. Coaching payroll for a realistic class schedule runs $145,000. Rent comes to $55,000. Equipment, maintenance, and insurance combined run $39,000. Utilities run $13,000. Marketing runs $20,000. Administrative software and the CrossFit affiliate fee combined run $13,000. Add those costs together. $145,000 plus $55,000 plus $39,000 plus $13,000 plus $20,000 plus $13,000 equals $285,000. And that leaves $65,000 in annual net profit, a margin of roughly 18.6%, comfortably within that commonly cited industry range. Here's what separates a gym that's barely surviving from one that's genuinely thriving. Because rent, insurance, and the affiliate fee stay largely fixed, and coaching payroll only needs to grow modestly to serve more members across the same class schedule, growing membership matters enormously more than raising prices. Push that same gym from 150 to 200 members through stronger retention and word-of-mouth referrals, and annual revenue climbs to roughly $465,000, while total costs only rise to around $320,000 since fixed costs barely move, pushing net profit up to $145,000, a margin over 31%, more than double the original dollar profit from a membership increase of just 33%. Chapter 5: Risks and what makes someone succeed or fail. Now, the honest part. This business has real pressure points, and they're worth naming clearly. Coach dependency is a genuine, ongoing risk because the entire class schedule depends on qualified, certified coaches showing up reliably. Losing a popular coach can directly hurt retention in a way that rarely happens at a big box gym where members don't form the same personal relationship with staff. Physical capacity is a real ceiling too, since a gym can only run so many classes a day and fit so many people per class, which means revenue growth eventually requires expanding hours, adding a second location, or raising prices, rather than simply adding more members indefinitely. Membership churn is a constant pressure too, since the intensity of CrossFit training means some members burn out or get injured and leave, requiring steady new member acquisition just to maintain a stable base, not just to grow it. But here's what actually separates gym owners who thrive from ones who struggle: disciplined scheduling and genuine community building. The most successful owners build a class schedule around real demand data rather than guesswork, cross-train coaches so the business isn't overly dependent on any single person, and invest heavily in the community culture that makes CrossFit gyms famous for retention rates that outperform typical commercial gyms. The owners who struggle usually made one of two mistakes. They built a class schedule around convenience rather than actual member demand, leaving expensive empty time slots on the books. Or they treated coaching as an easily replaceable cost rather than the core relationship driving member retention. This is a business built for people who think like both a fitness coach and a scheduling manager, not people who just want to open a gym and let the community run itself. Everything here is general business education, not financial, legal, or investment advice. If you're seriously exploring CrossFit gym ownership, you'd want to research local licensing and insurance requirements, review the CrossFit affiliate agreement carefully, and speak with an accountant experienced in membership-based fitness businesses before committing any capital. What's clear from the numbers is that a CrossFit gym isn't really a simple passion business. It's a scheduling and coaching operation where the winners are the ones who treat their class calendar as seriously as they treat their community. So here's my question for you. Would you rather own a coach-dependent, community-driven business like a CrossFit gym, or a big box gym model with lower margins per member but far less staffing complexity? Tell me which you'd choose and why in the comments.